Hello and most welcome to 1151 of the Heidegger series. And I will today talk about the book The Art of Changing by Glen. And I went to pages 194 directly. Just give me a sec here. It's called The Dance of the Shiva. And it actually begins with a quote of a physicist. I am energy has mass and mass represents energy. Einstein, 1905. We have believed forever so long that matter, stuff, is different from energy. Just as the body is different from the mind. Another form of the same theory. The matter-energy dichotomy goes back at least as far as the Old Testament. Gary Zukov, 79. I remember when I first came across Einstein's equation of mass and energy. I was still at school studying pure and applied maths and physics prior to reading philosophy at university. And so a scientific theory of such tremendous philosophical import filled me with awe and excitement. The world had changed for me, deeply and fundamentally. A table was no longer a solid object, and nor was I. Mass can be transformed into energy, and vice versa. I also remember my frustration that the objective world did not seem to change so rapidly, despite this world's shattering news. In fact, the only way it did seem to change was literally world-shattering in the form of atomic bomb. The science fiction films in which people became beamed up satisfied my new understanding of life, but I wanted it to be real, not fiction. After only a few months of training to be a teacher of the Alexander technique, I began to have heightened perceptions. I began to see auras around people and energy flowing, sometimes in the form of colors and sometimes as though the air was filled with tiny transparent bubbles and streaks. The releasing and changing process that I was going through was freeing my experience, the world, in a way that I had blocked. My vision was becoming a reality. The fiction was becoming a fact. Fritjof Capra recalls of a similar experience in the preface to his book, The Tao of Physics. I was sitting by the ocean one late summer afternoon, watching the waves rolling in, feeling the rhythm of my breathing, when I suddenly became aware of my whole environment as being engaged in a gigantic cosmic dance. Being a physicist, I know that the sand, rock, water, and air around me were made of vibrating molecules and atoms, that the Earth's atmosphere was continually being bombarded by showers of cosmic rays, particles of high energy undergoing multiple collisions as they penetrated the air. All this was familiar to me from my research in high energy physics, but until that moment I had only experienced it through graphs, diagrams, and mathematical theories. As I sat on that beach, my former experiences came to life. I saw cascades of energy coming down from outer space. I saw the atoms of the elements and those of my body participating in this cosmic dance of energy. When we become aware of what the Hindus call the dance of Shiva, that the world is an energy dance and that energy and mass are interchangeable participants in that dance, and that every particle of matter has an accompanying vibration, that we too are part of that dance, interacting all the time with the environment around us, sending out our own vibrations and receiving others. The idea that we also have a separate self seems contradictory. We live in an age where reality can only be understood in terms of contradictions like these, because we are on the edge of a new age where reality will take on new meaning for us. When I began seeing things, I became extremely curious and wanted to understand what was happening. It seemed that undoing the muscular and mental tensions and giving directions in the use of myself, I was opening up a kind of clairvoyance, clear seeing, or psychic awareness. Other teachers and students of the technique have had similar experiences to me, and my curiosity about these experiences, combined with the advice of a psychic who told me I needed to learn the skill of psychic self-protection, led me to a study of psychic development in England and California, and to develop a synthesis between the Alexander technique and psychic work. The first time I learned about psychic work was that everything was seen in terms of energy. The assumption that mass and energy were interchangeable was fundamental. Physical objects, plants, animals, human beings, the earth, the solar system were all different kinds of energy systems. We give and receive energy from the earth beneath our feet, from the planets and the solar system above our heads, and from the atmosphere we live in, at the interface of earth and cosmic energy. We also cannot change energy with anything in our environment, other people, other places, or things. In fact, it is the collective effect of all the energies that make up the quality of energy in a particular environment, which is why some places feel wonderfully happy and soothing, and others feel unpleasant and disturbing, and so on. The two disciplines I was learning about seem to go together very well. Both involve the development of refined self-awareness and an understanding of the power of mental direction applied in different ways. I realize that whenever we give anything our attention, we give it energy, and the quality of our attention will define the quality of the energy. Scientific experiments with plants have now demonstrated this. I began to understand the Alexander technique in terms of energy and experimented with directions that involved these energetic ideas. I found that by visualizing the Alexander directions as flows of energy, I could enhance the quality of the Alexander work I was doing. I was beginning to make the technique my own. First paragraph here with the techniques. Working with the energy flows. Lie in semi-supine position. That is also constructive rest. Spend about 10 minutes observing yourself, getting in touch with what you are feeling and thinking. Allowing the muscles to release as you put your body in the position of maximum rest for the spine. When you feel calm and still in mind and body, bring your attention to your right foot. Feel the contact of the sole and heel of the foot with your floor. Now imagine a stream of energy, like white light entering the body through the right foot. Imagine the light flowing into your foot through the ankles, calves, knees, thighs and hips, into the pelvis, and then streaming up the trunk of the body, down the arms, and up through the neck into the head, and out of the top of the head. As the energy passes through the joints of the body, the ankles, knees and hips, and up the vertebrae of the spine, those joints release a little. They become freer. There is more lubrication around the joint. As the light energy flows through the muscles, it releases and lengthens them, so they are coming more into balance. Antagonistic muscles balance each other, both lengthening and releasing. Sorry about that. They become freer. There is more lubrication around the joint. As the light energy flows through the muscles, it releases and lengthens them, so they are coming more into balance. Antagonistic muscles balance each other, both lengthening and releasing. Now give your attention to your left foot and go through the same visualization, allowing the light energy to flow throughout the body, not forgetting the arms and hands. If the hands are placed on the abdomen, then the energy will flow into the body once more and up through the trunk of the body into the neck and head. Now work with both energy flows at the same time. Be aware of the energy flowing through the neck, creating beautiful releases in the muscles and joints of the neck vertebrae. Feel the energy flowing in the head, into the head, releasing all the muscles of the face, all the muscles inside the throat and mouth, and freeing the joints of the bones of the skull, so that the fluid moving inside the head flows more freely. Give your attention to the trunk of your body, allowing the energy flows to release all the tension in the pelvis and abdomen, and in the ribs and shoulders. Imagine the vertebrae of the spine releasing and the spine lengthening right through to the head. The whole trunk of the body is lengthening and widening as the white light expands and fills it. Now add another dimension to the flows of energy. In addition to the energy flowing up the center of the body, visualize it flowing in through the right foot and leg, and then crossing the body in a broad band of energy moving to the left shoulder and down the left arm. See the energy flowing in through the left foot and leg, crossing over the trunk of the body to the right shoulder and arm. With these diagonal flows, the shoulders are encouraged to widen, and the arms and legs are encouraged to be well connected into the back. Feel the flows of energy bringing about the widening and lengthening you want in your body, and the freedom in your neck and other joints that enhances your movement. The aura, the group field. Pay attention to silence. What is happening when nothing is happening in a group? That is the group field. People sit in a circle, but it is the climate or the spirit in the center of the circle, where nothing is happening, that determines the nature of the group field. Learn to see emptiness. When you enter an empty house, you can feel the mood of the place. It is the same with a vase or a pot. learn to see the emptiness inside, which is the usefulness of it. People's speech and actions are figural events. They give the group form and content. The silences and empty spaces, on the other hand, reveal the group's essential mood, the context for everything that happens. That is the group field. John Heidegger, The Tao of Leadership. Every person, every animal, everything has an aura. Just as the world is surrounded by an atmosphere, so everything in it has its own particular atmosphere, which we call the aura. In effect, the aura is the energy field which is created around something. It is the composite of energies flowing from that object or being, or from a collection of objects and or beings. The human aura is very complex, and it is affected by the energies of the chakras. These are important energy centers which I will deal with shortly. The aura can be very different from person to person, and even in the same person, it changes from moment to moment, day to day, year to year. As we are all changing all the time, so the fluid atmosphere of our energy field changes with us. A healthy aura extends to about 1 foot around the body, and there are more refined emanations which can be detected several yards away from the body. It is as though we had several different bodies which exist in different worlds, all interacting and closely interrelated with each other. There are the physical body, the emotional body, the mental body. Many authorities suggest 7 chakras, 7 different layers of the aura, which correspond to the 7 major chakras. Nowadays, even if you have never seen an aura yourself, it is very The work of Semyon Kirlian demonstrates photographically the energy fields around people. Quote, subsequent experiments were to reveal that not only subatomic particles, but 8 atoms and molecules as well have associated matter waves. Theoretically, everything has a wavelength: baseballs, automobiles, and even people. Although their wavelengths are so small that they are not noticeable. Gary Zukov, the dancing Wooly Masters. We are interacting with different energies all the time. The energy of the earth is entering us. The energy from all the different planets and the entire cosmic space above us is entering us. And on the earth plane, we are in the crossfire of innumerable energy flows from sound, light, radio, electricity, and magnetism, and many more waves or vibrations that are scientifically understood, and others that are not yet understood so thoroughly, such as the energies from plants or from our thoughts and emotions. All these energies flow through us, and at the same time our own energies flow outward into the world around us. The invisible world is much greater and more powerful than the visible, but we still tend to limit our sense of reality to what is visible. In the light of modern science, it is no longer possible to hold to the old idea that seeing is believing. When we are in an active mode, moving, singing or talking, even thinking in an active way, or busy doing something, our energy is moving outwards, and we are less influenced by the energies moving inwards upon us. But when we are in passive state, daydreaming, listening, watching, waiting, being rather than doing, then the energies outside us impinge more noticeably on our minds and bodies. Many psychically sensitive peoples Many psychically sensitive peoples are able to see or sense the aura as a band of energy around the person. They may see colors and shapes in the aura. A person skilled in reading the aura can give information about the physical health, the mental, emotional, psychic, and spiritual conditions of the person, and even information about the past and the future. We have all these skills to a greater or lesser degree, but then they are not developed in our Western culture. When I was training in the Alexander technique, I was in an ideal situation for developing an awareness of the aura. Throughout the training, different people would work with each other, one in the role of the student and one as the teacher. Before anybody worked on another person, they paused and stood quietly beside the student, inhibiting and working on their direction. This meant that when I was in the role of student, different people would stand by me for a few seconds without touching me, and I would be able to get a sense of the aura before they actually touched me. What often occurred was that as the person gave directions and those thoughts entered her aura, so I, the student, would find those thoughts working on me before there was any hands-on contact. My head would move forwards and up, my back would lengthen and widen, and I would take a releasing breath with the lovely stimulus. Some had a more powerful auric effect than others, and there would be other qualities I would pick up in that moment of auric interaction. Anxiety in some people, a rather blissful healing quality in others, quite a delightful giggly feelings from others, and so on. These qualities change from day to day, although at the same time most people were aurically recognizable. Every time you notice an unexpected negative feeling, like anxiety or discomfort or a heavy awareness, in the presence of another person, or alternatively an equally unexpected positive feeling of joy or lightheartedness, as long as you have the sense that it was a bit of a surprise and not something coming from your own state of being, then you are picking up emotional energy of another person's aura. The aura has many layers, and you can pick up physical symptoms and thoughts as well as feelings. And you can have the same experience with a place or a plant or a stone or anything at all. Your being receives this complex stimulation all the time. Some people are more sensitive to it than others, so they may pick up thoughts or feelings of another person, or the quality of a plant, or the feeling of a place. Also, some people deal with it better than others, and some, but not all, sensitive people can get quite badly affected by what's going on around and through them, and unable to control the effect of it upon them. Other people are less influenced by it and able to operate more consistently despite the differences in energy fields around them. Many people are not even aware of the sensitivity and do not understand why they experience mood swings and fatigue or even ill health. I was one of those people, which is why a psychic suggested I study psychic development in order to learn how to deal with the energies around me. Next method, developing auric awareness. The following exercises require a free use of the imagination, unless you are able to see auras. If you can't see, imagine what it would be like if you could. Imagination and psychic awareness are close relatives. In order to work with either, you have to inhibit the interference of the logical, reasonable part of your mind and allow a different part of your mind to function freely. Stand quietly inhibiting and giving your directions. As you get in touch with your kinesthetic awareness, developing a sense of yourself standing, and allow the picture of yourself to include a band of energy about 1 foot wide, spreading out from your body and encompassing you. Really allow yourself to be aware how expansive you are when you contact your auric space. Allow that energy around you to be gently flowing outwards from your body, allowing you to expand more and more. Let the aura expand from 1 foot to 18 inches to 2 feet and so on. Notice the differences in your body as you expand the aura. Do you feel better as it expands? Or do you begin to feel a little unsafe? Or do you have some other response? Find out which width of aura feels most comfortable for you. Observe if this is different on different days. Now begin walking slowly around the room, giving your directions and being aware of the aura which surrounds you. As you move towards a wall or a piece of furniture, notice if you can sense the effect of that object upon your aura. How the aura deals with the object you get close to. Now move around in any way you wish, exploring movements of the hands and the arms, the legs and feet, and the whole of the body. Imagine you can see an aura around the hands, the arms, the whole body. How does that auric energy move as you move? What happens if you make a quick arm movement, for example? Picture the fluidity of the aura moving around you. Return to standing again and pause for a while. Now gently stroke your aura with your hands. Move your hands around your body without touching, as though you are stroking the space around you. See if you can notice the feelings you are experiencing when you are doing this. It is interesting to experiment with the above exercise using a mirror. Imagine you can see the aura in the mirror around your body. Watch it move as you move. Dance with your aura. Next paragraph. Working with other people. If you can explore auras with other people, you can get a much better idea of different types of aura. If you have a friend to work with, try the following experiment. Sit in the center of the room with your eyes closed. Let your friend walk slowly towards you. When you notice her presence, tell her what you can feel, what the sensations are, the emotions are, and the general quality of the interaction. Let her come even closer to you and continue to give feedback about the auric interaction. Then reverse roles. Auric types. When you are with other people, Notice what is happening to your aura and how you feel about their auras. Do they seem to have a very strong, expanded aura or a very gentle, receptive one? What does your aura do in response to theirs? People who see themselves as victims contract their auras, and this can make them ill. They don't give themselves enough space. If a person is feeling like a victim, it is as though the energy of the world is pressing down on him. So at the energy level, he is curling up into as small a space as possible in order to hide from the world. A lot of people tend to merge their auras with whoever they are with, letting the auras flow and blend together. See if you can picture the auras of people you are with, and notice what happens when someone, a friend, a stranger enters your auric space. Begin to notice the subtle changes in feeling when that occurs. Add an awareness to your aura, to the general kinesthetic awareness you are developing with the Alexander technique. That's the auric types method. Chakras. In Eastern philosophy, chakra is the name for an energy centered in the body. Chakra is a Sanskrit word which means wheel, and these energy centers can be seen to turn like wheels by clairvoyants. There are several hundreds of these centers all over the body, and many acupuncturists believe that they are the same as the acupuncture points in the body. Most of the energy centers are called the minor chakras. I shall not deal with them here, but there is a group of major chakras, usually considered to be 7 in number, although it can be anything from 6 to 10 according to different philosophies. The major chakras lie up the length of the body, from the base of the spine to the top of the head. And when people talk about the chakras, they often mean these major ones. In addition, there are important chakras in the hands and the feet. Quite recently, the chakras has been discovered by Western science using an instrument called an ESM scanner, which works on sound waves. They have also been scientifically treated using electrocrystal therapy. But there is still a lot to learn about the chakras from a Western point of view, and information coming from different Eastern philosophical sources is sometimes a little conflicting. There are several different systems that explain exactly where each major chakra is and what kind of energy it operates. The fact that there are inconsistencies in these systems points to the need for more research and understanding of these important energy centers. The system I use and shall be explaining here is mainly the one I learnt when pursuing psychic development in California, with small changes and additions which come from my own experience. It is a system relating to Western civilization, and it has proved very reliable in my work over the years. I see the chakras as operating at different levels of activity. Firstly, there is a mundane level in which the different energies of the chakra form the physiological and psychological makeup of a person. So each chakra has a personal psychophysical quality. Secondly, each chakra can operate at the psychic level, which deals with the way we receive energy coming from other people and the outside world, and how we project our own energies psychically. There is also a spiritual level of functioning of these chakras. In the diagram below, you can see the location of the major chakras. The best way to understand the chakras is to think of them as though they are an energy skeleton for the energy system that is a human being. They organize all the different types of energy in that system. So the chakras and the subtle body, which includes the many layers of the aura, are primary, fundamental parts of us, and around which our physical and psychological being is organized. On top we have the crown chakra, then we have the eye chakra, then we have the fruit chakra, then we have the heart chakra, then we have the solar plexus chakra, then we have the sacral chakra, and at the end of our coccyx, the base chakra. One level of energy manifestation of the chakras is visible. Sorry. One level of energy manifestation of the chakras is visible, namely the body. We tend to think of the real world as that which is visible, but this is no longer a workable hypothesis. Light energy makes it possible for us to see a physical world, but it is only a minute part of the energy vibrations of that world. On the vast electromagnetic spectrum of the energy known to exist, only a minute band is visible light energy. In the same way, what makes up human being is much more than what is visible, that is the body. When we are receiving earth energy, it enters through the feet chakras and travels up the leg to the first chakra at the base of the spine. Energy travels up the center of the spine through each of the chakras which are rooted in the spine, and then up into the head and out through the crown of the head. It also travels down the arms and out through the chakras in the hands. When we are receiving cosmic energy from above, it travels in the opposite direction. The energy enters through the crown chakra, down the spine, and out through the feet, and also out through arms and hands. In general, we give out energy with our hands, but it is also possible to draw energy in through our hands from the earth and from other sources. In addition, we can draw in or give out energy through the aura, and we are constantly interacting with our environment at this subtle level. Next method. Experience the energies of the chakras. The chakras are like wheels which turn clockwise and anti-clockwise at different times, possibly dependent on whether they are in an active or passive mood. Experts disagree on exactly which direction is appropriate for which chakra under which circumstances. And I have come across so many variations in my experience, I do not wish to put forward any one theory. However, it is interesting to experiment and find out how the chakra energy is moving. This can be done by using a pendulum or by placing the hands in the aura around the chakras. It is best if this exercise can be done with another person, and I will give instructions for this. If you have no one to work with, you can still hold the pendulum or your hand over your own chakras, and this is probably easier done in standing than lying. Using the pendulum, the persons whose chakras are going to be felt can either stand quite still or lie down. A pendulum can be made from any object attached to a piece of thread or a lightweight chain, as long as the weight can swing freely. The person who's using the pendulum holds it between the thumb and the forefinger. It should be held lightly with minimum tension in the arm and in the hand. Using the diagram of the chakras above to locate each chakra, move the pendulum of the center of the body to where one of the chakras is position. Hold the pendulum about 6 inches away from your body. Now close the eyes and wait. If the pendulum begins to move, allow that to happen. If it doesn't react, move it up and down the spine, trying slightly different positions until it does begin to move. The important thing is to avoid interfering with the activity of the pendulum, either by making it move or by stopping it from moving. It is not necessary to close the eyes, but I find it helps to avoid interfering with the pendulum's movements. When the pendulum moves, notice how it's moving, circling or swinging, and in what direction. Write this down as the movement for the chakra, and then move on to another chakra. Using your hands, this time simply move the hand over the chakras. Anything from 2 inches to a foot away from the body, and notice if you can feel anything. In order to experience the subtle changes of feeling in the hands, you need to be very calm and in a listening state. Notice changes in sensations in the hand. It may feel cold, hot, or tingy, or there may be stabs or pain. Experiment with each hand. Sometimes one hand senses energy better than the other. In the following pages, I give an account of each of the chakras and its function. I distinguish between a chakra through which the energy flows freely and a chakra in which there is interference with the natural energy flow. There are different kinds of interference. Difficult experience in one's life, which have not been fully resolved, cause trapped energy to get locked in the chakra. This can either block or overcharge the energy flow through the chakra. For example, an interference can cause attraction or avoidance of our attention. If we get obsessed about food, then there is an interference in the second chakra, and it is attracting all our attention. The chakra is overactive in its nourishment seeking. Alternatively, an interference may block the energy through the chakra, so we may react by habitually avoiding nourishment, as in the case of people who lose their appetites under stress. Then the chakra becomes underactive. A chakra also may not be functioning normally because the flow of energy from the chakras on either side of it are not balanced. In particular, interferences in energy flow of the lower chakras have a negative effect on the energy flow of the higher chakras. The lower centers, the base chakra, the root chakra, the first chakra. The base chakra is centered on the coccyx, or the base of the spine. The chakra appears to grow out of the spine, so its root is in the coccyx, svanskotan. And a vortex of energy circles out from this point. Our raw primal energy is stored in the base chakra. It is the chakra of physical, instinctual, animal energy. It deals with essential survival issues. The instinctual drives for food, protection, and shelter. The sexual drive at a purely instinctual level. It is about the survival of the self, the I. If a person has problems with the energy flow of this chakra, it will tend to manifest in two different ways. She will either be the type of person who takes no risks whatsoever, so afraid is she of not surviving any change. Or alternatively, she may continually court disaster in order to prove to herself that she can survive. An extremely timid person would be underactive in this chakra and tend to become ungrounded. An extremely aggressive person would be overactive in this chakra. Both these extremes indicate an obsession with survival issues. Another way of talking about this chakra is to see it as the chakra by means of which we ground ourselves. We also use the chakras in the feet for this purpose. We are all connected to planet Earth. And this too is an energy system, which we experience as an enormous mass which support us. Many animals have a tail which can contact the ground, so the base of the spine does extend through the tail to the ground like an earth link. We receive the earth energy into our bodies through this chakra, either directly or via the feet chakras, and we release unwanted energy formations down into the earth through this chakra in the same way. When we say a person is very ungrounded or unearthed, it means she does not have a strong energy connection with the earth or a strong sense of physical reality, and often not a strong sense of herself as a physical being. What is actually happening to this person is that the subtle body is splitting away from the physical body because it doesn't want to experience being in a body. If this happens fully, then the person has an out-of-body experience. More commonly, when a person feels spaced out, it is often a sign that the root chakra is not drawing earth energy into the body very well, so she is becoming ungrounded. Working as an Alexander teacher, I have found that quite often lower back pain and sciatica can be caused by interferences in the root chakra. This is by a person being poorly grounded. Often what occurs is that the person grounds herself through one foot but not through the other. And this creates twists in the pelvis, and the energy flows through the root chakra and the lower back is distorted. Astral travel. Some psychics find it very easy to split off the subtle body from the physical body, and they are able to astral travel to anywhere they wish and return to their physical bodies at will. It is possible that we all astral travel in this way when we are asleep, but for most people, being completely out of the body during waking life only occurs at very critical times, such as near-death experiences, and for some it is quite frightening and unclear as to whether they will be able to return to the physical body. The important point is that when this happens, we are no longer in contact with earth energy, and the root chakra is not functioning normally. Except for those people who have mastered the skill of astral traveling, this usually occurs when the body is in pain or the person is extremely frightened in some ways. So it is another way of saying the person has survival problems. Grounding exercise, how fitting when I stand here on the ground. There are many exercises in grounding. I will mention more later on in chapter 16. If you are doing this exercise simply as an experiment, I recommend that you give the Alexander directions throughout the exercise. But if you are feeling very spaced out, and ungrounded, it is better not to give the directions until you feel contact with the earth again. The direction to send the head forward and up can be misunderstood and misdirected, leading to more ungroundedness, unless well balanced by the thought of the weight going back and down. For these reasons, I have left the directions out of this exercise. Stand with your feet hip width apart. Be aware of the weight of your body flowing downwards into the earth. Slowly move the weight slightly backwards and forwards on your feet, feeling the effect throughout the body of the weight passing through the front of the feet and then through the heels. Do this about 5 to 10 times, very slowly, giving all your attention to the sensations in your feet as you move, and then comes into stillness with slightly more weight on the heels than on the front of the feet. Now move the weight from the left foot to the right, very slowly, once again noticing the changes in your body as your weight shifts. Imagine that below your feet are your roots, like the roots of a tree, extending down into the ground as far as your body extends up above the ground. Cup your hands over your second chakra and feel that center of gravity of your body is sinking down to where your hands are cupped. Continue to sway forward, backwards, from side to side, very gently, as though you are a tree. Thinking always of how your weight is falling downwards through your heels, and that your weight is centered in your second chakra. Now bend your knees a little and continue the swaying movements with your knees bent. The sacral chakra, the hara, the second chakra. The sacral chakra, as its name suggests, is rooted in the sacrum and spirals out from this point. Where the first chakra deals with the instinctual and physical energy, the energy of the second chakra is emotional. It gives the emotional context in which a person experiences her reality. It is really about the pleasure principle, the need for deep, satisfying nourishment through good food, loving contact, care and attention, and a sense of belonging. Sexual energy as a form of pleasure, emotional closeness, and nourishment is a part of this. And this chakra is often called the sexual chakra. This chakra also rules the digestive system and how well we nourish ourselves through the food we take into our bodies. If this chakra is flowing well, the person is competent at receiving pleasure and nourishment from her life. Usually a person with a strong second chakra is a very happy, outward-going, kind, and generous person. She has learnt very early that in order to receive pleasure, you have to be able to give it freely by being delightful. And because there are no blocks in the energy of this chakra, the person will have a healthy digestion, a healthy appetite, and plenty of positive energy as it is channeled through the base chakra. The chakra represents the energy of a young child. If the child is feeling nourished, loved, and included in the family group, then she will be full of joy and delight. But if she feels undernourished and neglected, then the emotions turn to fear and anger and sadness. The emotions can change quickly from positive to negative in a young child. But if a child experiences habitual neglect, or if she is not allowed to release the negative emotions, through tears or tantrums, then they will interfere with the energy flowing through the chakra. If the chakra becomes overcharged, the person may express this through intense emotional moods or through an obsession for food or for sex. If the chakra is blocked or underactive, there might be a holding back of emotional experiencing or a loss of appetite for the food or sex, and possibly a rather depressed state. And an obsession in one aspect of the chakra may be covering up for a lack of fulfillment of another aspect. Such as an obsession for food replacing a need for close sexual contact. The digestive system may be affected, as may the general energy of the person, because she is using the energy of the chakra to either hold down negative emotions or to overexcite them, and this will interfere with the flow of physical energy of the base chakra. A lot of problems I discussed in the early chapter, the emotional body, interfere with the energy of the second chakra. in addition to being manifested in the musculature throughout the body. In order to bring this chakra into balance, it is often necessary to move from an underactive chakra to an overactive one, to allow the blocked energy to release. This is another way of saying that for the stiff upper lip to become still, it may need to twitch and tremble for a while. However, we are unique, and the way we interfere with our energy flows is unique. The way we manifest our interferences is unique. And the way we bring ourselves into balance is unique for each one of us. Like the quantum physicists, I can only talk in terms of probabilities. Method: energizing the second chakra. Take a notebook and a pen and find a very comfortable spot, warm and nurturing, and make yourself a hot, soothing drink and some tasty morsel to eat. A little smackerel or something as Pooh Bear, the archetypical second chakra being, would say. Cup your hands over your second chakra, sending it love and healing. Now think of all the things you really enjoy doing. Think of anything that gives you pleasure, nourishment, happiness. Write a list of all the things, activities, experiences, everything you can think of, from horse riding to cups of tea in the garden, anything that gives you pleasure. Imagine some of these wonderful things as you sip your drink and savor your smackerel. Read your list every day and think of one treat at least that you can give yourself every day. A treat today helps the second chakra play. The third chakra, the solar plexus chakra. The third chakra, which is between the navel and the bottom of the rib cage, deals with the development of individual power. It is the largest and most powerful of the chakras, where the base chakra is focused on survival, and the second chakra is focused on pleasure. This chakra is focused on winning, gaining, acquiring, succeeding, being in control of one's life. When this chakra is flowing well, the person has the attitude which is captured by the phrase, I'm okay, you're okay. He has plenty of self-respect and confidence in his ability to achieve whatever he sets his mind to. He has a positive ego structure, a sense of dignity about himself, feeling neither superior nor inferior to anyone else. The person with a negative ego structure who judges himself harshly, the I am not okay, you're okay person, who always feels like a victim, is blocked in this chakra. He has not been able to develop a sense of his own power, and so becomes obsessed with the power out there in the world that he feels subject to. He feels inferior to everyone else and turns other people into tyrants. The tyrant or the power crazy person is overactive in this chakra. This person thinks, I'm okay, you're not okay, and feels superior to everyone else. Someone who is always out to win and who sees everything, including other people, in terms of what can be gained from them. Or a person who always has to be in control, has interferences with the energy flowing through this chakra. It is very important to develop a sense of one's own power and to feel reasonably successful and in control of one's life without being obsessive about issues of power and control. Whenever you face a challenge or do something in order to be able to say that you did it, you are summoning the energy of this chakra. When this chakra is flowing well, you are able to deal with conflicts of power in an open and honest way, and you are not afraid of confronting difficult situations in order to bring to the surface the issues involved and deal with them constructively. The positive emotions connected to this chakra are feelings of confidence, dignity, and self-respect. Pride, guilt, and shame are some of the negative emotions that can block the energy flow or even overactivate it. The victim likes to play on the tyrant's guilt. And the tyrant likes to play on the victim's shame, and these types can play these games together endlessly, or until the power issues involved are worked out and the chakra flows freely and easily. Most people in the Western society have blocks and problems in the third chakra because our society is built on concepts of power and success. And the obsessions of the society naturally become our personal obsessions as well. Also, we often find the needs of the second chakra conflicting with the drive of the third chakra. If you hear yourself thinking that you haven't got time to enjoy yourself, nourish yourself, and that there are more important things to do, then you are hearing a conflict between the second and the third chakras. And it sounds like the third chakra is winning. The third chakra does a lot of judging. It is usually the part of us that tells us what we ought to be doing. That is, if we want to be successful, powerful, maintain our self-respect, etc., allowing harsh judges to become helpful guides is a way of balancing the energy of the third chakra. Energizing the third chakra. Here's another list. Write down everything you really like about yourself. Judge yourself as positively as you possibly can. Thinking of every positive aspect of yourself, every good thing you've done, every success you can remember in your life, everything you've gained which has enhanced your life, every way in which you feel strong and powerful. Keep adding to the list as you think of more things. Build up your ego in this way. Then sit in front of the mirror and speak to yourself, saying, I am a very wonderful, successful, powerful person. I am in control of my life. Add to this about 10 of the items on your list. Notice your responses to hearing these self-congratulatory statements. Say them until you can hear that you are saying them with conviction, or until you decide you had better to do some deeper work on this issue, because it's bringing up a lot of negative feelings. When you are succeeding in doing this exercise with conviction, think of another person in your life. Don't choose one close to you. Preferably choose someone with whom there might be a certain competitiveness. Now write a similar list about her or him, and say that in the mirror with equal conviction. When you are comfortable about your own power and achievements, and comfortable about the power and achievements of other people who are not in any way in your power, then the third chakra is coming into balance. Now to the higher centers, the heart chakra, the fourth chakra. Not surprisingly, the heart chakra is all about love energy and how well this flows in our energy system. The love I'm talking about is unconditional love, which means simply that there are no conditions to love. If you feel you love someone when you are doing things to please you, your energy is coming from your second chakra and is about pleasure. If your love is conditional on status or power, in some way it's coming from the emotional energy of the third chakra. If it involves judgment of any kind, it does not belong to the heart chakra. If you love someone because they are beautiful, successful or powerful, then that person is energizing your own sense of power and status, which is totally valid, but it's not the unconditional love of the heart chakra. I don't love you when you are unkind to me. I don't love you when you don't do as I want. Neither of these attitudes belongs in the heart center. A lot of what passes for love in the world today belongs in the lower chakras and is pleasure agreement or a power agreement or even a survival agreement. Which means the love is unconditional in some way. A newborn baby usually manages to arouse unconditional love for a time, but the very process of socializing with the child involves creating conditions under which the child becomes acceptable or lovable. The unconditional love of the heart chakra is the love of acceptance. It loves a person or a thing for what it is now, unaffected by virtues or vices. It is a holistic feeling that everything has worth as a part of the whole, that we are all connected and involved with each other, and that the world is one great energy system in which everything plays its part. It is love of the beingness of something. It is the love which says simply, I am, you are, and finally, we all are. And that is enough. It is a feeling of total affinity with oneself and with the whole of environment. There are no boundaries, no separateness when the heart chakra is dominating the energy of a person. Just a feeling of total affinity with everything and trust in the life processes. The self-concept of a person is held in the heart center, and of course this is deeply affected by whether one loves oneself or not. Those people who have a sense of their own value simply because they exist, not only because they've managed to survive or because they experience pleasure, or because they can win, are able to operate from unconditional love. And if they are able to do this for themselves, then they are able to love the rest of the world unconditionally. The positive emotion of this chakra is love, and the negative emotion is a painful sadness, because most of the time we feel separate and not part of the whole, and because we don't accept ourselves and others as we are now. Traditionally, as a culture, we emphasize the third chakra, but the New Age is concerned with developing the energy of the heart chakra. A great deal of growth movement is involved in the business of trying to get rid of the interferences in this chakra and in the lower chakras which impede the flow of energy through the heart chakra. In order to allow the heart chakra to flow, we must deal with our issues around power and nourishment and survival, the issues of the lower centers. For example, if you try to bypass your third chakra stuff, you may end up being a martyr, preaching love energy, but having none for yourself, simply imagining you have lots of love for everyone, when in effect you are acting out your need to be a victim. to give away your power in the name of love. Alternatively, you may feel you are loving everyone, when in fact the emotion is pride, and you are feeling superior to everyone because you are so loving. It is difficult in the period in which we live to separate third and fourth chakra positions, because often our habit is to turn every loving thing we do into an ego trip, a sneaky third chakra experience. Every time we make judgments about ourselves, our love, and our loved ones, even if they are positive judgments, we have moved back into the third chakra, out of the accepting energy of the heart chakra. But we have to love and accept even this as a part of the dilemma of our times. The third chakra often gets in conflicts with the heart chakra. This is the conflict between acceptance and judgment discussed earlier. Of all the chakras, the third chakra likes conflicts most. Through conflicts, the third chakra has the opportunity to balance its energy, although often it's just another habit. When the fourth chakra energy is flowing well, the people in the outside world become real and valid in themselves, whereas in the lower chakras, they are objects of manipulation in the interests of ego survival, pleasure, or power, ego trip. The boundaries between the self and the rest of the world dissolves when operating from this chakra. Everything becomes part of the whole and valid in itself. Genuine intimacy is possible. A person tends to identify totally with the being nature of another. The energy of the heart chakra is healing energy. The word heal comes from the word whole, and as we experience ourselves and our world holistically, so we become healed. As the central chakra in the body, the heart chakra is the chakra of balance. It balances the energies of lower chakras through acceptance, and as the energy of the heart chakra develops, it allows more energy to flow through the upper chakras. Our chakras develop as we mature. The base chakra is activated through the embryonic period and the first year of life, when the child's main needs are survival needs. During the first year and onwards, the second chakra opens as the child needs the emotional reassurance of contact and nourishment. The adolescent experiences the activation of the third chakra during the puberty, when normally she gets into many power struggles and conflicts as she asserts her individuality. The heart chakra is the chakra of maturity, when the person goes beyond satisfying needs and is content with everything just the way it is. The upper chakra may then open up as that maturity develops. Of course, this is an ideal picture, and most people never remove the interferences in the lower chakras sufficiently to experience a balanced flow in the heart chakra and upper chakras. But most of us have glimmering of this potential in ourselves. It is what is meant by opening the heart center, which is a popular phrase of the growth movement. Just as this is the first age to have a holistic view of the world, so we are now able to develop a holistic view of ourselves. Being yourself. Lie down in the semi-supine position. Put one hand at the center of the chest, at the level of the heart, and quietly repeat to yourself, I am. Do this for at least 10 minutes. The throat center, the fifth chakra. This chakra deals with communication. It deals with the way we express ourselves outwardly in the world and with the way we receive information. It is very creative energy, dealing with song and poetry and all verbal and non-verbal communication. We often forget just how creative it is to communicate. Our voices are very individual, as is our handwriting, and the words we choose to link together, whether we are humorous or serious, to the point or expansive. All the many permutations in style and content make every communication a creative act, quite unique to the person who is making it. If the chakra is operating well, we are able to communicate what we want to say clearly and in a way that expresses our unique being. We also hear clearly what is said and what is not said, and we perceive verbal and non-verbal communications with similar clarity. The throat chakra is very much affected by the state of the lower chakras, either consciously or unconsciously. Basically, we are expressing all those aspects of ourselves that make up the lower chakras. So if we have problems around receiving nourishment, our voices and what we say would reflect that neediness. Whereas if we have resolved those problems, it will be easy when necessary to express our need for nourishment in an open and honest way. Similarly, if we are power-driven, this will appear quite clearly in the way we communicate. And if we are comfortable about issues of power, it will be quite easy in a conflict situation to deal openly and powerfully with the issues involved. If the chakra is not functioning freely, then we are unable to express ourselves clearly. We eat our words, or the words we say are affected by blocks in the lower chakras. So, for example, although we may be trying to express love, people hear messages from the lower chakras that are coming through unconsciously. In a similar way, we hear less clearly and are more influenced by our projections, which again will relate to the blocks we have. In other words, we hear what we expect to hear. So if we expect someone to be unpleasant, we will interpret the communication as unpleasant. This tends to become a self-fulfilling prophecy, because if we then react as though that person has been unpleasant, the chances are it won't be too long before they really do become unpleasant. This can work in a positive direction too. If you operate as if people love you, you often find they do. In addition to the blocks in other chakras, the throat chakra can be blocked in itself if we don't believe we can be creative or lack confidence in our ability to communicate, to express ourselves, and to listen clearly. It governs our ability to relate to the outside world, both as a giver and as a receiver of information. So it deals with our ability to relate in general. If the heart chakra is flowing well, we are relating well. In that way, it will enhance our ability to express ourselves and to listen well. The brow chakra, the ajna or the third eye, the sixth chakra. The sixth chakra deals with the way we see the world, our intellectual understanding of reality. It is the chakra of logical thought, in that it is the way we deduce how things are in the world, because we have analyzed them, pulled them to pieces, and put them into pigeonholes. People who spend a lot of time working with the energy of this chakra are intellectuals who scrutinize the world to see how it works, theoreticians, whether the subject be physics or the dynamics of human relationships, or the theory of color. It is the chakra of abstract thinking. If there is an end to be gained through thinking, such as survival, pleasure, or power, then this kind of practical thinking operates through the lower chakras. In addition to deductive thinking, our ability to visualize, to see things in pictures and colors, comes from the chakras. Our vision of the world is organized from this center, be it a positive worldview or a negative one. So if you are a person who thinks that the world is an evil place, and that the money is the root of all evil, then you will constantly see the world through the rather grey and drab lenses of that projection. Whereas if you believe the world to be abundant and yourself to be fortunate, then you will see the world through rose-colored spectacles. Interferences in the lower chakras will affect your vision. The sixth chakra is the chakra of wisdom and understanding, or the lack of it. Because this chakra holds our vision of reality, it also energizes our sense of purpose in life. If the chakra is flowing well, a person has a sense of direction to her life. She feels she is in the right place, on the path. Whereas if the chakra is blocked, a person will either have no sense or purpose, or be a fanatical end gainer, overdriven and ruthless. The crown chakra, the seventh chakra, well, we're getting up all the body. The crown chakra is the spiritual center of the body, and it is the center where the cosmic energy of the universe most powerfully enters the body. It is our link with God, just as the root chakra is our link with the earth. By God, I mean an awareness of the whole and an understanding that is beyond the intellectual pictures we paint with the sixth chakra. If this chakra is flowing well, we have a sense of knowingness about life, an overview that allows us to be less affected by day-to-day events. This chakra indicates our autonomy as individuals, the degree of independence that we have in our lives. If we are still very dominated by the opinions of our parents, our cultural background, our friends or spouses, then this chakra is blocked by those hidden messages that belongs to other people. I want to distinguish here between those opinions that you have through choice, which may or may not be in agreement with your parents and friends, etc., and those which come from habit and which you have never really examined. These habitual thoughts block the flow through this chakra. If the chakra is completely blocked, then the person is totally ruled by different influences around him during his life, with no personal autonomy. On the other hand, if there are no blocks, then a person is truly connected into the divine flow, is enlightened, is a goddess unto herself, so to speak. Most of us fall somewhere in the middle. This chakra shows the degree of maturity we have attained as being in a continuum that moves from slavery to freedom. The hand chakras. The hand chakras deal with our giving energy. They show the way in which our energy system expresses itself out in the world, and in particular how creative we are with our hands. For example, an artist will visualize her work through the eye chakra and then express the vision through the chakras in her throat and hands. An artist may be using other chakras as well. If she is feeling very loving, then the heart chakra will work through her hands. If she is feeling hurt and angry, then the blocked energy of the second chakra will be part of the work. It may be that energy block is released as a result. The hand chakras also show whether a person's orientation is internal or external, whether their energy goes outwards towards the external world or inwards towards self-exploration, or a balance between the two. The feet chakras. The feet chakras deal with our receiving energy. We receive the energy of the earth through our feet chakras. If they are blocked, then we have problems with grounding and with receiving in general. All the information about grounding that I have written in relation to the base chakra applies also to the feet chakra. Balancing the energy of the chakras. This is a heart chakra meditation which can be done in sitting or standing in addition to lying semi-supine. In this meditation, I shall make use of the colors of the rainbow, which correspond to the 7 chakras. Lie down in semi-supine and work through your process of self-observation, and then give your directions for lengthening and widening, as laid out earlier in the book. In particular, be aware of your back lying against the floor, supporting you. Enjoy the stimulus of the floor upon your back. Now visualize your spine running through the center of your body, connecting to your hand. Bring attention to your coccyx. Imagine a beautiful red light glowing out from the coccyx. You may see it as a vortex of energy circling from the coccyx. This is your root chakra. Imagine the red light filling out the whole of your pelvic area and the legs. As it glows and brightens and spreads, say to yourself, I accept my instinctual nature, that part of me which is purely animal. Now bring the attention to the sacrum and see a spiral of orange light moving out from there, filling out the whole of the lower abdomen. See the orange light filling out the space and mingling with the red light of the base chakra. Say to yourself, I accept my emotional nature, my need for pleasure and nurturing. Move on to the solar plexus chakra, where the vortex of light is golden yellow. Allow it to fill the whole of your upper abdomen. Say to yourself, I accept my power, my ability to succeed, my need to have some control over my life. Let the energy of the heart center flow, giving out the spiral of green light, filling out the chest, shoulders and arms. Say to yourself, I accept myself totally. Accept exactly as I am now. I am. Move the attention to the throat center, the vortex of energy coming from the vertebra C7, and oddly enough, where you should make the split. Where the neck and shoulders meet, the opening out to where the collarbones meet. Let the blue light fill out the throat, the mouth, the jaw and the ears. Say to yourself, I accept the way I express myself in the world. I accept my creative nature. The brown chakra is between the eyebrows. The color is the dark blue or indigo, filling out the rest of the head. I accept my wisdom, my understanding of reality. Move to the crown of the head, where the violet light spreads outwards from the crown, and say, I accept my divinity, my connection with cosmic universal energy. This exercise can be done as a series of affirmation rather than statements. Of acceptance, so you can affirm that you are instinctual, emotionally nourished, powerful, loving, and accepting, creative, wise, and divine. You may feel you want to work with one chakra that feels especially blocked. If possible, place a hand over the chakra and send it healing heart energy. Make the statement of acceptance or the affirmation about a particular chakra until you can feel it changing, interferences releasing, and the energy flowing more freely. Well, I think about Richard E. Lind, if the development with the heart soul and the understanding of the body as understanding, that development, had it not been thwarted, stopped prematurely, and gone into a speed bumper, this could have been the development. But it was stopped, and this, of course, is thousands and thousands of years of development. And I think it's a good clue that Richard E. Lind gives us to understand these things. Because starting with the normal way of thinking, subject in front of space, with an object, it stops the understanding of chakras. Because here chakras are existences. They are something much more. They are energy fields. As they express it, I wouldn't say that. I would say they are creator fields. And I think about the quantum field. Remember that. It looks exactly like how the chakra field or the chakra are moving through the body and making the different energy directions. And then all of chakra makes more than sense. And also our real weird view of feeling that everything that goes to thinking has taken away thinking from us, but also the body. The thinking body is something unreal to us. Our position doesn't matter. Trying to sit with your feet crossed or your leg crossed when talking to a teacher in Japan, you will get scolded. Standing like this, listening to a lecture at Kyoto, the professor went mad. I remember this. You need to put your body into an attentive thinking position. The body thinks. As you heard, the chakra here high up between the eyes with the blue light, I think it was, the bluish. That is where thinking goes around, and that is body, and that is also soul. And the crown chakra is something to be reached. So we have to work through all the other 7 layers. And layers we also mentioned, Couples Blakesley. We talked about body map, and it goes outside the body. I remember there was not much of a reaction when I read the book from other people around in critics, but it is extraordinarily close to the aura field. Extraordinary. So there are some connections, and I would say this is a way of entering the quantum field. Being able to, at a deeper level, grasp how the quantum works within us and use that to our benefit. And I really like this love chakra too. This is so important because most in Western culture, everything that is not individual is a threat to it. Here is just the opposite. having people close, accepting the aura field, which part of you, instead of blocking here, which all Westerners do, will not take you away. It will make more of you shine through. It will make you stronger, more resilient. It will make you healthier. It will make you a survivalist, but you're still the loving kind and caring kind. And in the West, we inadvertently stimulate the blockage of the third chakra, and that is the reflective consciousness. Definitely an egotistical thing that doesn't think, doesn't see its own thinking. It simply reacts like a little child that's suffering from bellyache. I say thank you very much and have a very pleasant afternoon. Bye bye for now. I'll show you the book here as well. Here you can see the different chakra fields and how it goes outside the body. And the aura is exactly as the quantum field. There is absolutely no difference. And this is prerequisite for a proper functioning body, I would say. And it's so nice it gets proven by many other people, not Richard E. Lind, quantum mechanics, Ian McGilchrist. Left hemisphere is obviously a blockage of the third chakra, and all other chakras above and below them.